Lecture 47, The Steel Worlds. Gigantic generation ships above Gor, technology, size, history, and the Kurii threat. A lecture by Sarah Thorne. Part 1 Opening. Masters, mistresses, free men and free women, Kajare and Kajarii, I greet you. The circle is open. We have spoken of Gor, of its cities and its jungles, its warriors and its slaves, its laws and its rebellions. But Gor does not exist in isolation. Above the skies of Gor, hidden among the debris of the asteroid belt, drift the steel worlds, gigantic generation ships, artificial planets. The home of the Kurii, the great enemies of the priest kings and the greatest threat to both Gor and Earth. This lecture will cover what the books tell us about these massive vessels, their technology, their size, their history, life aboard a steel world, how the Kurii travel to Gor, and what the people of Gor know about them and what they do not. The circle is open. Part 2. The history of the Kurii, the destruction of their world. To understand the steel worlds, we must first understand the Kurii. The Kurii have had a civilization for about 100,000 years, much longer than mankind has had such. Kurii legends state that many thousands of years ago, in internecine wars, the Kurii destroyed the viability of their native world. Their own ambition, territoriality, aggression and greed, coupled with a remarkable technology, resulted in its desolation or destruction. One can imagine the axis of such a world being explosively shifted, producing lethal, global tumults of storms and climates. Perhaps the world as a whole was literally fragmented, broken into hundreds of irregular planetoids incapable of holding an atmosphere. Perhaps there was merely a radiological sterilization of the world, one rendering it progressively incapable of supporting life. Maybe 40,000 years ago, the Kurii possessed incredible technology, far beyond what they have now. But most of this technology was destroyed in the wars among themselves. Their civilization has regressed in some ways and appears to be on a technological decline. The remnants of a shattered species then, as a world burned below them, turned hunting to the plains of the stars. At least 20,000 years ago, the Kurii possessed a deep space capability and came to our solar system seeking a new home. The story, in its way, has no clear beginning. It began, I suppose, some thousands of years ago when Kurii in internecine wars destroyed the viability of a native world. Their state at that time was sufficiently advanced technologically to construct small steel worlds in orbit, each some passings in diameter. Part 3. The steel worlds, technology and psi. The steel worlds are the Kurii's master ships, gigantic artificial planets constructed from steel. Size. Each ship is almost an artificial planet, some passings in diameter. A passing is roughly 0.7 miles, so even a conservative estimate puts these vessels at miles across. They are not small ships, they are worlds. Location. The steel ships wait near Jupiter, which Gorians call Hesios. For thousands of years, the Kurii had left Gor alone but have recently begun to direct their attentions to it. Interior design. The interior of a steel world is designed to simulate natural environments. In Kurii of Gor, Tarl Kabit is taken inside one of these vessels. In the cylinder it seemed there were 4 long valleys in one of which they stood, some yards outside the stable, and on the left and right far off on each horizon, as though in the sky, there was another valley and another dim far off, lay directly overhead. Between these valleys there were mountains and forests, and Cabot, too, could see here and there like a silver thread, a meandering stream. Cabot asked about the gravity. The gravity surrogate, said Pyrrhus, is achieved by rotation. It seems much like that of Gor, said Cabot. Intentionally, said Pyrrhus. One can arrange a variety of gravities depending on the speed of the rotation. Size of the specific steel world Cabot visited, in measures with which you are familiar, said Arcesilaus, some 1,600 square passangs. That is over 750 square miles, a massive artificial habitat. Subsidiary cylinders. There are 5 subsidiary cylinders easily reachable from the steel world by means of shuttles. 2 agricultural cylinders, the largest. A forest world or game world, essentially a sport world for hunting. An industrial cylinder. A pleasure cylinder by far the smallest. BTB plus principle applied, the books provide specific measurements. Some 1,600 square passangs, 5 subsidiary cylinders. This is the foundation. We do not invent larger or smaller sizes. We respect what Norman wrote. Part 4, Smaller Kurii Vessels. In addition to the massive steel worlds, the Kurii possess smaller spacecraft. These are described as vehicles, for the most part black, similar to those of priest kings, about 30 feet in diameter and 8 feet high. They have a hatch at the top of the disk and another on the side, which opens to allow a ramp to descend. They are similar to the flying saucers one sees in many B-movies. These smaller vessels visit Earth to capture women and obtain supplies. They have radar and camouflage systems that make them stealthy and almost undetectable. Often, humans in the service of the Kurii pilot these craft. The captured slaves are treated like cattle. They may end up as meat for the Kurii's food supply, but before that, they are used as servants. Male slaves are assigned to hard labor. Female slaves are not, as the Kurii say such tasks harden the meat and reduce their commercial value. Captured girls receive an identification bracelet on their ankle, before sometimes being sold on Gorian markets. Part 5. Life aboard a steel world. Life on a steel world is not what one might expect from a spaceship. The Kurii have designed their vessels to be livable, not just functional. Artificial environments. The interior contains valleys, mountains, forests, and streams. The gravity is artificially created through rotation, and is made similar to Gor's gravity for comfort. Agriculture. The agricultural cylinders produce food for the inhabitants. The game world provides hunting grounds for sport and food. Industry. The industrial cylinder manufactures goods and maintains the vessel. Pleasure. The pleasure cylinder is the smallest, but it exists. The Kurii are not merely beasts. They have a culture, they have leisure. BTB plus principle applied, the books mention these cylinders. We can expand logically. The pleasure cylinder likely contains entertainment, rest areas, and spaces for relaxation. But we do not invent details that contradict the books. The foundation is the foundation. Part 6. How do Kurii come to Gor? The Kurii have multiple ways of reaching the surface of Gor. 1. Direct landing of small vessels. The smaller Kurii spacecraft can land on Gor, hidden in remote areas. The jungles of Shendi, the polar ice caps, and the northern forests are all possible landing sites. 2. Human agents. The Kurii employ human agents who carry out their work on the surface. These agents may be slavers, merchants, or spies. They may not even know who their true masters are. 3. Kurii living on Gor. The search results confirm. On Gor live individual, isolated groups of Kurii who have lost contact with the ships. Only occasionally are agents sent directly from the ships to Gor to carry out tasks. 4. The permanent base in the north. The Kurii maintain a permanent base in the north of Gor, hidden in the eternal ice, which is tolerated by the priest kings. Many Torvaldslanders know the Kurii and know that they are intelligent and can speak. They do not fear them, however, as the Kurii rarely hunt as far south, and when they do, they are usually outcast, sick, or injured cur. 5 crashed ships. Some Kurii vessels have crashed on Gor over the centuries. The priest kings destroy the ships but do not concern themselves with the Kurii who escaped and survived. As long as they obey the laws on technology and weapons, the Kurii are allowed to remain on Gor. Usually, these groups of surviving Kurii quickly return to a state of barbarism and anarchy. They typically live in isolated regions of Gor, such as the frozen territories of the north. Part 7. The Kurii, Physical Description and Biology. The Kurii are not human. They are not humanoid in the way we think. From the search results, Kurii are very ugly, large-eyed fur creatures with long, pointed ears. Their fur is deep black. Only in old age do gray spots appear, and in illness, white spots. Adults are about 2.5 meters tall and weigh about 700 pounds, roughly 8 feet tall and 700 pounds. Their forelegs are slightly longer than their hind legs and end in clawed hands that, due to 6 wrist joints, move almost like tentacles. They have a broad, leathery snout with 2 slit-like nostrils and a long, dark tongue. Their mouth is so large that it can completely swallow a human head and is equipped with 2 rows of sharp teeth. 4 large fangs, of which the 2 upper fangs protrude even when the mouth is closed, complete the jaw. The Kurii have no tail. The long claws on their hind paws can be retracted. When their ears are laid back, it is generally a sign that they are about to attack. They can also show aggression by baring their canines. The Kurii are primarily nocturnal, though they have no difficulty acting during the day. The Kurii not unoften feed on men. They regard humans as food. The flesh of human women is considered a delicacy. They are carnivores. They consider humans as cattle or meat animals. They would not deign to maintain a friendly relationship with a race they consider food. BTB plus principle applied. The physical description of the Kurii is detailed in the books. We do not change it. We do not soften it. The Kurii are monsters in the literal sense, alien, powerful, and hungry. Part 8. The Kurii Priest-King War. The conflict between the Kurii and the Priest Kings has been ongoing for almost 20,000 years. 11 defeats. The Kurii have been driven from our solar system 11 times, but they always eventually return. They refuse to close with Priest King ships because they know that their own ships are no match for the superior weaponry of the Priest Kings. The Nest War's impact. The Priest Kings, for thousands of years, had defended the system of the Yellow Star against the depredations of the prowling Kurii. Fortunes had shifted perhaps dozens of times, but never had the Kurii managed to establish a beachhead on the shores of this beautiful world. But some years ago, in the time of the Nest War, the power of the Priest Kings was considerably reduced. The Kurii are not certain of this, or of the extent of the reduction. If they knew the truth, the code words would flash between the steel worlds, the ports would open, and the ships would nose forth, turning toward Gor. Priest King superiority. Though the Kurii outnumber the Priest Kings by more than 1,000 times, the superior power of the Priest Kings continues to hold them off. Kurii starship sensors may be the match of the Priest Kings. Kurii weapons, though primitive, are effective at ranges of up to 100,000 passangs, about 70,000 miles. Priest King expeditions to repel the Kurii are costly, dangerous, and difficult. Thus, the Priest Kings take little direct action against the Kurii ships. They prefer more defensive than offensive actions. The Kurii's ignorance. Kurii have never met or captured an actual Priest King. Since they are ignorant of much of their nature, the Kurii are hesitant to fully attack Gor. Third, knowledge. The technical and scientific secrets at the level of the priest kings are known as the third knowledge. This includes understanding complex machines, the spaceships with which humans are brought from Earth to Gor, and the systems with which the priest kings can capture thoughts and hold the planet in its orbit. Only the priest kings themselves, and in part the Kurii, possess this knowledge, not the humans on Gor or on Earth. Part 9. What the people of Gor know about the Kurii. The knowledge of the Kurii is not evenly distributed across Gor. Torvaldslanders, the people of Torvaldsland, know the Kurii best. They have dealings with them, usually hostile. A Kurii is called a beast in their language. They are mortal enemies. The Kurii not unoften feed on men, and men, in consequence, attempt to hunt and slay the beasts when they can. The general population of the southern cities, most free citizens of Ar, Kos, and other major cities have no idea that the Kurii exist. They know of the priest kings as a distant, mysterious power. The Kurii are a secret kept by the high castes and the priest kings' agents. The high castes, scribes, initiates, and high-ranking warriors are generally aware of the Kurii threat. The extent of their knowledge varies. Kurii agents. Some humans work for the Kurii knowingly, like the slaver from Kos in Kur of Gor who by his own skill handles a flying saucer, traveling from steel worlds to Earth and Gor and back. These agents have a great deal of knowledge about all things and cannot be fooled in any manner by usual Gorian prejudice. Survivors of the Nest War. Individuals who have had direct contact with Priest King technology and secrets, like Vika of Treve, have far more knowledge than the average Gorian. Rich merchants, those who deal with unusual technology, like merchants from Ar who deal with modern weaponry brought from Earth, or the Tyrian head merchant who dealt with the Kurii, have greater knowledge. What they do not know, the general population does not know that the Kurii destroyed their own world. They do not know about the steel worlds. They do not know about the spaceships. They do not know that the priest kings have been fighting a war for 20,000 years. This is kept from them to maintain social stability. BTB plus principle applied, the books establish a hierarchy of knowledge. Torvaldslanders know the Kurii as beasts. High castes know more. General population knows almost nothing. We respect this hierarchy. We do not make common knowledge out of secrets. Part 10. Kurii on Gor, isolated groups. Not all Kurii live in the steel worlds. Some live on Gor itself. The Kurii maintain a permanent base in the north of Gor, hidden in the eternal ice, which is tolerated by the priest kings. Many Torvaldslanders know the Kurii and know that they are intelligent and can speak. They do not fear them, however, as the Kurii rarely hunt as far south, and when they do, they are usually outcast, sick, or injured cur. Additionally, some Kurii vessels have crashed on Gor over the centuries. The priest kings destroy the ships but do not concern themselves with the Kurii who escaped and survived. As long as they obey the laws on technology and weapons, the Kurii are allowed to remain on Gor. Usually, these groups of surviving Kurii quickly return to a state of barbarism and anarchy. They typically live in isolated regions of Gor, such as the frozen territories of the north. It is also probable that there are Kurii living on Earth, perhaps outcasts, or shipwrecked individuals who hide in isolated regions of the world. Their presence could be the origin of the legends of Sasquatch Bigfoot. Part 11. Why the Kurii have not won. Given their technological advantage and their numbers, why have the Kurii not conquered Gor? The priest king weaponry, the Kurii know that their own ships are no match for the superior weaponry of the priest kings. The Nest War's ambiguity, the priest king's power was reduced during the Nest War, but the Kurii are not certain of this or of the extent of the reduction. If they knew the truth, they would attack in force. The Kurii's own decline, their civilization has regressed. They have lost technology. They may no longer have the ability for interstellar travel. which would explain why they have remained in our solar system for so long. The Priest King's defensive strategy. The Priest Kings prefer defensive actions over offensive ones. They take little direct action against the Kurii ships. The Kurii's ignorance of Priest King nature. The Kurii have never met or captured an actual Priest King. Since they are ignorant of much of their nature, they are hesitant to fully attack Gor. Part 12. What destroys the feeling? BTB plus perspective. Do not do these things, making the Kurii into friendly creatures. They are not. They are beasts. They eat humans, ignoring the steel worlds. They are a central part of the lore. The war with the Kurii is the backdrop of the entire series, making Kurii weapons common on Gor. They are smuggled. They are hidden. They are used only in extremis, pretending the general population knows about the Kurii. They do not. This is secret knowledge, forgetting the Torvaldsland connection. The Northerners know the Kurii as beasts. They have fought them for generations, making Kurii agents obvious. They blend in. They are spies, not cartoon villains. BTB plus principle applied. The books establish the Kurii as a credible threat. Do not weaken them. Do not make them harmless. Do not ignore the war. Part 13. Closing the circle. I have spoken. Now I ask you to consider. The steel worlds drift above Gor. Massive artificial planets hidden among the debris of the asteroid belt. The Kurii live there, alien beasts, 8 feet tall, 700 pounds with fangs and claws. Their world destroyed by their own wars, they came to our solar system seeking a new home. They have been fighting the Priest Kings for 20,000 years. They have been driven back 11 times. They always return. They send agents to Gor. They have a hidden base in the frozen north. They sometimes crash on Gor, and the survivors, isolated and cut off, revert to barbarism. Some humans serve them willingly. Some are captured and enslaved or eaten. The people of Gor know little of this. Torvaldslanders know the Kurii as beasts. High castes know more. The general population knows nothing. The war continues. The Priest Kings hold the line, but their power is weakened. The Kurii watch. They wait. They plan. This is the secret war above Gor. The steel worlds, the Kurii, the Priest Kings. The circle is yours.